हेलो एवरीवन, आई वेलकम यू इन दिस सेशन। और इस सेशन के अंदर हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं यूपी पीसीएस मेंस पेपर 3 के लिए जो इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस हैं उनको हम डिस्कस करेंगे। तो इसमें ही जो पहला क्वेश्चन है कि इवैल्यूएट द इफेक्ट्स ऑफ ग्लोबलाइजेशन ऑन द इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट इन इंडिया। तो भारत के अंदर जो इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट है उसके ऊपर ग्लोबलाइजेशन का क्या इफेक्ट है, इसको हमको इवैल्यूएट करना है। To evaluate the effects of globalization and industrial development in India. The term globalization refers to integration of the economy. The term globalization refers to the integration of economy of the nation with the world economy. तो जो ग्लोबलाइजेशन शब्द है उसका मतलब होता है कि इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ इकोनॉमी ऑफ द नेशन विद द वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी. It is multi-faced. It results from the collection of multiple strategies. It results from the collection of multiple strategies directed at transforming the world towards greater interdependence and integration. So globalization results from the collection of multiple strategies directed at transforming the world towards greater interdependence and integration. तो ग्लोबलाइजेशन जो है वो रिफर करता है इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ द इकोनॉमी ऑफ नेशंस विद द वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी. ये मल्टीफेस्ड है और इट रिजल्ट्स फ्रॉम द कलेक्शन ऑफ मल्टीपल स्ट्रेटजीज डायरेक्टेड एट ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग the world towards greater interdependence and integration. The 1991 reforms in India have led to the greater economic liberalization, privatization, and globalization, which affects India's industrial development. So 1991 reforms in India have led to the greater economic liberalization, privatization, and globalization, which affects the India's industrial development. जो इफेक्ट्स ऑफ ग्लोबलाइजेशन है इंडिया के अंदर उसको देखते हैं. तो पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट्स क्या हैं ग्लोबलाइजेशन के? तो एक्सपेंशन ऑफ मार्केट जो मार्केट है उसका एक्सपेंशन हुआ है. इंक्रीज इन द फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व. तो ग्लोबलाइजेशन की वजह से जो फॉरेन करेंसीज हैं उसका हमारे रिजर्व में बढ़ोतरी हुई है. इंक्रीज इन फॉरेन कोलैबोरेशंस. तो फॉरेन की कंपनीज और फॉरेन से कोलैबोरेशंस जो है वो ज्यादा हुए हैं विद दिस ग्लोबलाइजेशन. टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलपमेंट. तो इंटरनेशनल मार्केट को compete करने के लिए जो टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलपमेंट है वो करना पड़ेगा. रिडक्शन इन ब्रेन ड्रेन. तो रिडक्शन इन ब्रेन ड्रेन. डेवलपमेंट ऑफ कैपिटल मार्केट and more choices to the consumers. तो ये रहे कुछ पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट. ग्लोबलाइजेशन के अगर नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट की बात करें तो लेबरर्स का एक्सप्लॉयटेशन हुआ. लॉस ऑफ डोमेस्टिक इंडस्ट्रीज, लॉस ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट, एनवायरमेंटल पोल्यूशन, reduced the amount of profit of the Indian industry company, increase in inequalities. तो ये जो हैं ये नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट्स हैं ग्लोबलाइजेशन के. Objectives. The primary objective was to open Indian economy to the global practices and thrust on the market orientation. The primary objective was to open Indian economy to global practices and thrust on the market orientation. दूसरा ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? It intended to make free Indian economy from sluggish single-digit growth and built the strong foreign reserves. It intended to make free Indian economy from the sluggish single-digit growth and built strong foreign reserves. It wanted to achieve the economic stability and remove all unnecessary restrictions and state control from the market. It wanted to achieve economic stability. Globalization wanted to achieve the economic stability and remove all unnecessary restrictions and state control from the market. चौथा पॉइंट ये है कि इट ऑल्सो परमिटेड इंटरनेशनल फ्लो ऑफ गुड्स, services, capital, human resources, and technology without any restrictions. So, globalization permitted international flow of goods, services, capital, human resources, and technology without any restrictions. By reducing the reserved number of sectors to three, it incentivized the private sector to thrive in the economy. So, globalization, by reducing the reserved number of sectors to three, it incentivizes the private sector to thrive in the economy. Evaluation की अगर हम बात करें तो reforms brought about expansion of services sector helped largely by the liberalized investment and trade regime. It also increased consumer choices and reduced poverty significantly. तो रिफॉर्म्स जो हैं एलपीजी रिफॉर्म्स ब्रॉट अबाउट एक्सपेंशन ऑफ द सर्विस सेक्टर helped largely by a liberalized investment and trade regime. They also increased consumer choices and reduced poverty significantly. The share of services in GDP, the share of services in GDP has increased by 20 percentage point since 1991, reflecting a decisive change in the nature of India's economic output. Except agriculture, average growth rate has been consistently high since 1991. Entrepreneurship has surged, so has infrastructural development. India has been one of the most attractive destinations for FDI and one of the fastest growing countries. Foreign exchange reserves, which plummeted, plummeted, plummeted in 1991, burgeoned years on years since then. However, India has not fared well in the manufacturing and agricultural sector, the two largest employers. It is a high time for India to reset economic agenda and initiate Reform 2.0. Reforms of 1991 were not merely a one-time event. Economic reforms have to be accompanied by administrative and governance reform in order to achieve the objectives of inclusive growth and sustainable development. So, reform of 1991 were not merely one-time event. Economic reform have to be accompanied by administrative and governance reforms in order to achieve the objective of inclusive growth and sustainable development. The reforms triggered India to pave its own unique path to development, which still continues to work in progress. अगला क्वेश्चन जो है, डिस्क्राइब द टारगेट्स ऑफ द एनर्जी जनरेशन थ्रू रिन्यूएबल सोर्सेज अंडर द नेशनल एनर्जी पॉलिसी 2017 ड्राफ्टेड बाय नीति आयोग. तो टारगेट्स ऑफ एनर्जी जनरेशन थ्रू रिन्यूएबल सोर्सेज अंडर नेशनल एनर्जी पॉलिसी 2017 ड्राफ्टेड बाय नीति आयोग. The Niti Aayog on 27 June 2017 released the draft National Energy Policy. The policy seeks to replace the Integrated Energy Policy of 2006 by considering the present and future availability of resource and energy demands. The key objectives of the draft National Energy Policy 2017 are excess of affordable access at affordable prices, improved security and independence, greater sustainability, economic growth. So, key objectives of the draft National Energy Policy NEP 2017: access at affordable prices, improved security and independence, greater sustainability, economic growth. Targets of National Energy Policy. The intention of the National Energy Policy is to present a broad framework for overall energy sector. INDC intended nationally determined contribution to reduce the emission intensity of its GDP by 33 to 35% by 2030 from 2005 level. To achieve about 40% cumulative electric power installed capacity from non-fossil fuel based energy sources by 2030 with the help of transfer of technology and low cost international finance including from the Green Climate Fund to create an additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2 equivalent through additional forest and tree cover by 2030. To create an additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2 equivalent through additional forest and tree cover by 2030, or to achieve about 40% cumulative electric power installed capacity from non-fossil fuel based energy resources by 2030 with the help of transfer of technology and low cost international finance including from the Green Climate Fund. कंक्लूजन की अगर हम बात करें तो नेशनल एनर्जी पॉलिसी 2017 aims at supporting the Indian ambition to emerge as a well developed and resilient economy with a high level of human development. Additionally, it helps prepare the nation to anticipate the technological and market related changes in the energy sector. The policy focuses on the clean energy resources such as solar and natural gas, etc. Coal imports are emphasized to come down 10% by 2022 and 50% by 2030. Moving to the next question, throw light on the pursuit of Sustainable Development Goals SDG in India. SDGs in India. तो SDGs के ऊपर हमको प्रकाश डालना है इंडिया के अंदर. तो in 2015, United Nations General Assembly adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The member countries, including India, committed on 17 Sustainable Development Goals and 169 points. तो Sustainable Development Goals SDG 1 No Poverty, Goal 2 जो है ये है Zero Hunger, Goal 3 is Good Health and Well-being, Goal 4 is Quality Education, and Goal 5 is Gender Equality. Goal 6 is Clean Water and Sanitation, Goal 7 is Affordable Clean Energy, Goal 8 is Decent Work and Economic Growth, Goal 9 is Industrial Evolution, Innovation and Infrastructure, SDG 10 is Required Reduce Inequalities, SDG 11 is Sustainable Cities and Communities, Goal 12, SDG 12 is Responsible Consumption and Production, SDG 13 is Climate Action, SDG 14 is Life Below Water, SDG 15 is Life on Land, SDG 16 is Peace, Justice and a Strong Institution, SDG 17 is Partnership for Goals. India's effort in implementing Sustainable Development Goals, MNREGA, is being implemented to provide jobs to unskilled laborers. India's efforts in implementing the SDG goals, पहला है मनरेगा. तो मनरेगा is being implemented to provide jobs to unskilled laborers and improve their living standards. National Food Security Act is being enforced to provide subsidized food grains. National Food Security Act. The government of India aims to make India open defecation free under its flagship scheme Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Renewable energy generation targets have been set at 175 gigawatt by 2022. Amrut Hriday schemes have been launched for improving the infrastructure aspects, India has expressed its intent to combat climate change by ratifying the Paris Agreement. कंक्लूजन की बात करें तो एसडीजीज आर मल्टी डायमेंशनल एंड इंटरकनेक्टेड. एसडीजीज जो है ये मल्टी डायमेंशनल है और इंटरकनेक्टेड है. It requires deep commitments by countries in achieving them. India is making progress towards achieving the goals, and efforts shall be continued by each, yeah, every state and UT in this regard. अगला क्वेश्चन जो है कि व्हाट इज प्रधानमंत्री किसान संपदा योजना. तो प्रधानमंत्री किसान संपदा योजना क्या है? मेंशन इट्स ऑब्जेक्टिव्स एंड प्रोविजंस. The central sector scheme, Sampada scheme, is a scheme for agro-marine processing and development of agro-processing cluster. तो सेंटर की जो स्कीम है संपदा स्कीम फॉर एग्रो-marine processing and development, scheme for agro-marine processing and development and agro-processing cluster was approved by the cabinet in May 2017 for the period of 2016 to 2020. Quaterminous with the 14th Finance Commission cycle. The scheme has now been renamed as Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. So PMKSY, now it has been renamed as Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. Under PMKSY, the following schemes are to be implemented. Mega Food Park. तो प्रधानमंत्री किसान संपदा योजना के तहत पहला जो इम्प्लीमेंट होगा वो पहली स्कीम इम्प्लीमेंट होगी मेगा फूड पार्क्स. फिर फूड सेफ्टी एंड क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, इंटीग्रेटेड क्लाउड चेन वैल्यू एडिशन एंड प्रिजर्वेशन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, infrastructure for agro-processing cluster, scheme for creation of backward and forward linkage, creation, expansion of food processing and preservation capacities, human resources and institutions. It is an umbrella scheme incorporating ongoing scheme of ministry. Objectives of Sampada: to supplement agriculture, to create processing and preserving capacities, to modernize and expand existing food processing units with a view to increase the level of processing, to add value leading to the reduction of agri waste. Conclusion पे अगर हम आए तो implementation of प्रधानमंत्री किसान संपदा योजना will result in creation of modern infrastructure with efficient supply chain management from farm gate to retail outlet. It will provide a big boost to the growth of food processing sector in the country. It will help in providing better prices to the farmers and is a big step towards doubling the farmers' income. It will create huge employment opportunities, especially in the rural areas. It will also help in reducing wastage of agricultural produce, increasing the processing level, availability of safe and convenient processed food at affordable prices to consumers, and enhancing the export of processed food